Previously on Meerkat Manor. Babysitters Sophie and Axel dropped their guard when amorous rover Wilson came calling. They let a deadly snake slip into the Whiskers' burrow. But the day was saved by the courage of Rocket Dog. Storms in the Kalahari are often swift and violent. And by noon on the day of this particular storm, the sky was already as dark as ink. All across the manor, animals huddled together, waiting for it to blow over. For two frightened young pups, the storm was the final straw on a day that hadn't quite gone according to plan. A day that ended in fatality. The Whiskers family bask in the early morning sun. At just 4 weeks old, Rocket Dog's pups are healthy and strong. Uncommonly strong for meerkats so young. Beaker and her brother Nugget are record breakers, the largest ever recorded emerging from a burrow on the manor. Big pups make big mischief, and there's nothing Nugget or Beaker enjoy more than their family joining them in their rough and tumble. Sadly for pups who love to play, the fun is short-lived. There's always more important business at hand, like finding breakfast. And this morning is just the same as any other. The adults are slowly moving away from the burrow, poking their noses into any hole they can find. And soon they'll be out of sight as they munch their way across the manor. At least Auntie Sophie is staying home to provide comfort and entertainment. She may not be the most lively babysitter, but she can always be relied upon to provide a warm cuddle. Not that Nugget feels very cuddly today. Today he feels like biting. Beaker's not going to take this lying down. There's just one thing that's known to distract boisterous pups, and that's food. The trouble is, Sophie isn't lactating, and Rocket Dog is now likely to be away all morning. It's very unusual for babysitters to bring pups solid food at the burrow, but today they could just be about to get lucky. Deputy carer Suggs was one of Flower's last pups, and he dotes on Rocket Dog's little ones. Though bringing them food presents him with a dilemma. Having grub in his mouth without eating it. But sharing with pups is just one of the amazing lengths meerkats will go to for the good of the group. Well, sometimes go to for the good of the group. Finally managing to resist temptation, Suggs brings the pups a peace offering. Beaker snatches it straight from under Nugget's nose. A small and tasty victory that goes down easily. Nugget seeks solace with Sophie, but he's in no mood to be comforted. He missed out on the grub, and now he's hungry. It looks like it's just going to be one of those days. Experienced Sophie takes charge. Moving away from the burrow, she starts to make lead calls. Nugget and Beaker haven't left the safety of the burrow before. They're not sure. But Suggs is making to leave too, which doubles the chance of food. Nugget weighs up his options. Not a tough decision, really. Beaker agrees. This is a momentous occasion. Rocket Dog's pups are embarking on their very first adventure into the big wide world. Out here, the service is a lot quicker and a lot more reliable. But there doesn't seem to be much variety in the dining experience. They're still only getting grubs. Nugget's more interested in the other stuff that never seems to make it to their table. But for Suggs, serving up deadly delicacies like live scorpions to these diners is a definite no-no until they're older. By late morning, the pups' hearty breakfast has taken its toll. But while they sleep, danger is fast approaching. A rival gang is heading their way. Maybelline's Aztecs may be a splinter group from the Whiskers, but that makes them no less dangerous, especially to Nugget and Beaker. Something rouses Sophie. Not just an approaching storm, but movement ahead. This spells trouble. The Aztecs are only 100 meters away, but they're too busy looking over their shoulders to see what's in front of them. It would now be very wise for everyone to keep quiet. But Sophie can't suppress her alarm. And now she has the Aztec's full and undivided attention. It's time to move. They must get the pups to a bolt hole before the Aztecs make up the ground between them. If they're caught on the surface, Nugget and Beaker won't stand a chance. They do make it to a bolt hole before the raiders reach them, but even below ground, their safety is far from certain. The Aztecs will try to force their way in. And there's something about the place that smells very wrong. Leaving Sophie to guard the entrance, Suggs goes deeper to investigate. Sitting, soaking up the early morning sun is a great time to feed hungry pups. It's been a peaceful few weeks for the Whiskers, and this morning Rocket Dog is quite content, if a little hungry herself. Leaving her pups in the capable hands of Sophie and youngster Suggs, Rocket Dog leads the family out to find breakfast. It's starting to look like the Manor's premier family is back on top. The birth of Rocket Dog's pups has swelled the Whiskers' size to 20, and the family is now working as a unit. Rocket Dog's days of unconvincing leadership seem to be behind her. And to top it off, super-sized fast food is in good supply. Rocket Dog is getting fat. Up ahead, the Whiskers have come across one of their old burrows, and there's a problem that needs their leader's attention. The burrow has recently been occupied. The scent is familiar. The Aztecs have been here, led by Rocket Dog's sister, Maybelline. The Whiskers set about reclaiming the property as their own, but overmarking won't solve the real issue. There's no love lost between Rocket Dog and Maybelline, and her sister's presence this far into Whiskers' territory is very worrying indeed. If Maybelline comes across the babysitting burrow, she's likely to kill the pups. The Whiskers need to find the Aztecs, and fast. Everyone goes on lookout. Luckily, the renegade gang hasn't moved far. But they're heading in the direction of the babysitting burrow. It's time for Rocket Dog to teach her sister a lesson. But receiving a lecture is the last thing Maybelline wants. This is no idle warning. With her pups' lives at stake, Rocket Dog won't call off the chase until the Aztecs have been driven as far away from the burrow as possible. But what she doesn't realize is Nugget and Beaker aren't at the burrow. The Whiskers draw to a halt. Rocket Dog has driven the Aztecs far enough. Now her priority is to get back to the pups at the burrow before the storm hits. But when she returns to the burrow, she finds it deserted. Nugget and Beaker have gone. Looking for them will have to wait until the storm passes. Rocket Dog is unaware of the mortal danger she's put her pups in by chasing the Aztecs. In attempting to keep them out of harm's way, she's achieved the exact opposite. She's delivered the enemy to them. And right now, just 1 kilometer away, Nugget, Beaker, and their babysitters are fighting for their lives. They've discovered that the bolt hole they sought refuge in is already occupied. And whilst Suggs confronts this deadly dweller, the situation on the surface is looking equally as grim. The Aztecs have arrived, and they are desperate to get at the pups. But first, they have to get past Sophie. And she's willing to lay down her life to protect them. Trapped between two deadly forces, the situation looks dire for Rocket Dog's firstborn. They desperately need rescuing, but this time, the Whiskers aren't coming. It's evening at the Whiskers burrow, and the storm has finally passed. Rocket Dog scans the horizon for any sign of her pups. But the only living thing moving out there is a distant bird of prey, buffeted by the strong winds. Morning finds the Whiskers family sitting at their burrow. They now number just 16. No one is playing this morning. With no need for anyone to stay behind today, the whole family move out. But they are stopped in their tracks by the sight of a lone figure moving towards them. It's Sophie. She turns and, issuing lead calls, heads off. The Whiskers follow. To where she's left, Nugget and Beaker. Both still very much alive, thanks to the heroism of their babysitters. but one hero won't be returning home to the welcome he deserves. Sug's role in saving Nugget and Beaker brought him nose to nose with the fastest strike in the Kalahari. He didn't die in vain. He bought his young charges vital time. And when the rain forced the Aztecs to seek shelter of their own, Sophie and the Pups were able to escape. In the past 24 hours, Nugget and Beaker have witnessed the true nature of the world in which they live. They've discovered that when you live in a land that conspires against you at every turn, the safest place to be is with family. Lots of family. Next time on Meerkat Manor, the Aztecs run into an old foe, and Zorro has competition for Nikita's affections.